An Economic Battle of Wits. Article by Dalla Fitzwanga. Fitzwanga is a freelance writer on economic and sociopolitical issues based in Uganda. This audio book is brought to you by the Chamber Press Audio. This read is sponsored by Domain Kenya. www.bydomainkenya.co.k. An Economic Battle of Wits. There is a Chinese proverb that transliterated goes rather like this. May you live in interesting times. The interesting times here are actually more an invite to topsy-turvy times. They might as well have said may you know no peace, well alas. Here we are, in interesting or rather topsy-turvy times. The price of oil is below $1. The transport hubs from Paris to London are totally locked down. And Dubai, a city that never slept, is now suspiciously quiet. In every airport, planes that roared every millisecond now fill the runway on a road to nowhere. In some cases, nature has taken its course, as dolphins were spotted in Venice and wild goats in Wales. Yes, we are in interesting times. Africa has not been spared the ravages of this Chinese curse. The economies of Nigeria and Angola, that balance budgets based on a particular price of oil, are facing uncertain times. Africa's economy on the whole is mostly extractive in nature, with little value addition to the primary products. The African continent faces an uncertain economic future, just like the rest of the world. Experts have postulated that the expected economic downturn and its subsequent lockdown will kill more people than the virus itself. Duels were up to the 19th century a gentlemanly way to solve conflicts. Savage as that may seem today, back then, any issue was amicably by two men staring at the end of the barrel of a gun. Thankfully, the name duel has been consigned to history and exists only as a metaphor. In Kenya, an intellectual duel, thankfully, arose between two gentlemen on Twitter over the best way to jumpstart the economy once the COVID crisis is over. Donald B. Kipkor, a lawyer of considerable repute, voiced his support for quantitative easing as a way of increasing liquidity in the sluggish Kenyan economy. Quantitative easing is a practice of printing money to increase liquidity in the economy. David Ndiaye, the other intellectual, disagreed with quantitative easing, calling it myopic crass economics and bound to cause rampant inflation. The duel on Twitter went back and forth, with each intellectual sticking to his guns. At one point it degenerated into crass name-calling. My aim is not to get into a moral polemic but to decipher which of the two gentlemen was right regarding the viability of quantitative easing as an economic policy tool. In one way, both intellectuals, David B. Kipkor and Mr. David Ndiaye, were right. One was focused on the micro aspect of the economy, the other on the macro or long-term structural issues facing the Kenyan economy.